Okay, today we're going to talk about how to set a boring bar in a CNC lathe. How to get it set for a diameter so you have your X correct. Again, X is our diameter, Z is our travel back and forth or length. And again, I have removed the safety key and moved it over here into the other side for educational or for a demonstration for this video only. Do not run a machine with the safety key pulled out. It's dangerous, it's also illegal, but we can do it for educational purposes. All right, so I have pre-turned a diameter, and I'll show you why in a second, why we had to do that, because we're going to use that diameter to figure out our boring bar. Now, before I started, we took a turning tool, which I'm going to call up right now. I'm going to go into MDI, and my turning tool is T5 or tool 505. 5 is a tool, 05 is the offset or the geometry, X and Z wear. So I get T 505, and since I have one in there, I'm going to hit Alter, and I'm going to hit Cycle Start. We'll slow it down a little bit. And that's my turning tool. This tool is the one that I use to actually scribe a line across the center of my diameter. And the reason I did that was you want to make sure that you have the pitch of that boring bar set correctly. And we're going to show you that in a little bit. So I use that tool to set the boring bar. I'm going to pull up the boring bar again now, which is T1010. Tool 10, offset 10. So T and MDI still, 1010, alter. Let's say we erase it. So now it's erased, it's not even in there. I have to hit right enter down here. Now it's in, I hit Cycle Start, and there's my boring bar. I have a 1/2 inch boring bar. And since this one was round, we had to work on how to set that pitch. Some of them come with a flat, they have set screws that sit on top of them. Everything's good to go from there, but still double check your pitch and make sure it's right. All right, so I'm going to bring that in now. Hand jog, Z. I'm going to go to 10 thousandths per click so we can get over there a little quicker. Even though you're going quick, don't get crazy. That's when things get smashed and tears begin to fall. So we're walking over here. I'm going to get it in close. Now, just like setting a tool where you have to set the X, we have to set the X on this. Z is the same as touching off any tool. Touch it off using a piece of paper. I'm not going to go over that. It's like any turning tool, you're going to touch off using a piece of paper. But the diameter, the X, is going to be different. So, I turned the diameter on this smaller, and I'm going to show you why right now. If I go to hand jog X, and I bring that down as far as I can, I don't get off the diameter. My diameter is too big. I can't cut it. So that's why I pre-turned a diameter with a turning tool, so I can use that diameter now to set. And you say, well, why would you do it like that? You can't turn this cutter, you can't turn this spindle on like that. There's no hole to go inside of right now to get a measurement on it. So I'm going to use a diameter. But since I normally would be turning on the back side of a hole, and we'll show you that, and now I'm turning on the front side of a diameter, I can't use MO3 clockwise. I have to use MO4 counterclockwise. So I'm going to go into MDI, erase what I have. Now I'm going to hit S, that's for spindle, 1500, 1500, it's aluminum. We can run it pretty quick. And then MO4, running the spindle counterclockwise or backwards. Right enter, turn it on. And there it is. Now it's spinning like this, rather than normally it'd be spinning like this. So if I'm looking at the end of the spindle, normally it's spinning like this, and now it's spinning like this, okay? So we want to run it this way. So I'm going to bring it in, hand jog, Z. I'm going to bring it in. Be careful here, you don't want to smash anything. X. And now I'm going to have to move in a positive manner because I'm moving back toward the machine home. Everything in this is machine home, is X negative. So as I go back that way, I actually have to turn my hand jog wheel to a positive move. So we come in here, it's just chirping on there now. I'm going to walk it in a little bit and walk it out. Back it away. Stop the spindle. So we measure it here. 902, just 2 past the 900 mark. So 902 thousandths. So again, without moving my X, because I lose everything if I do, I hit X diameter measure. 15,680. Now, it says enter a diameter. So, erase what I have. Negative 0.902. This number should get smaller than the negative 14,778. Now, I'm going to move it away in hand. Move it in Z a little bit. Don't get crazy. MDI, I've still got everything put in there I need. I should be able to hit cycle start. So now we move it in Z. And I'm going to come right over here and my handy dandy flashlight, I'm going to see where that's at. That's right on the money. That's center. So now you can see, pay attention to this number over here. If that says it's negative and it doesn't get smaller going that way, you know you got a problem. So we're at 14,778. Let's see what happens when we do it the other way, when we use a hole to check our boring bar. Going to hand jog my piece away. I'm going to put this one in there. While we have it out, I want to show you something though. A boring bar usually has a small insert on it if it's an insertable boring bar. And on that insert then, it's going to come into a hole. We're going to show this from the back side. And as that part's coming around like this, you don't want to be on center. You want to be just slightly above center so you get a good cut. If you go too far below center, now you're rubbing on the back side of that boring bar, and that cutting edge on the front there isn't cutting anything. See, at center is good, just slightly above center, which when we looked at that line, that's where we were, just slightly above center, is where you want a boring bar to be. You can't really see that in the machine because the boring bar is not facing us, but it's going to look like this. We'll turn the other way, and it's going to go into that hole just slightly above center. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with this piece in here now. Got that clamped in there. Now I am going to run my spindle forward, MO3, because I'm going to be cutting it in the way that the boring bar is designed to run in a program. So, I'm going to come over here to MDI, get rid of all this. Before we do that, I'm going to go back to offset, and we're at 14,778, 14.778. See how close we get with the hole on the other side. And this is a setup. If you run a setup piece, you can adjust all your numbers to get things just right before you start running all the goodies. All right, so MDI, erase this, S1500, that's a good speed, MO3 this time, enter, cycle start, here we go. Now, I take my hand jog, Z, I walk it in, again, always be cautious when you're doing this. Now see how close I am to the front edge here? A guy would not want to keep going there. So we're going to take the X and move it positive back toward home. Get it up here a little ways. Move it in Z, just slightly inside of the part. Now I'm going to walk it up in X. I'm doing 10th out a crack, but that's okay because this is aluminum and I'm not jamming it in there. Notice I'm safe crackering it now. I'm not just whipping it in there. That's how we blow things up. The danger of this is you get tired of taking all that time to get there, and just before you get there you whip it and then you break it. So be patient, it'll get there. So I've just hit the part now. I'm going to go Z, walk it in a little bit. I'm going to walk it back off of there. I'm going to go in there again. I'm going to walk it away. Stop it. Again, don't move your X, otherwise you lose everything. Since I'm on the inside, I'm going to use a pair of calipers. You could use an inside mic, you could use a telescoping gauge, you could use a dial bore gauge. For what we're doing here, this will be close enough. I have a 5 thousandths tolerance on my hole. So I'm going to go in here, put this in here, get the wiggle on it a little bit. 1.25 diameter, 1.25 diameter. Okay, so from where I'm sitting, X diameter measure. Now it wants me to enter a diameter. Get rid of all that. We're going to go positive this time because this is the way the machine thinks. 1.250, right enter. 14.778, exactly what we had on the other one. So we have set that boring bar diameter now. We know we do the Z just like any other turning tool. We've set the boring bar diameter. We've set the pitch, so we know that's correct. We've double checked it 2 ways, outside, inside diameter. Remember, inside I'm turning MO3 clockwise, standard forward. Outside I'm turning MO4 backwards. Thanks.